Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to talk about enumeration or enum. So what is an enumeration? An enumeration or enum is a user-defined data type that consists of a set of named integral constants. And we use them to improve code readability and maintainability by giving meaningful names to integral values. For example, here I am declaring and initializing one variable called a of integer type, and it is equal to 10. However, we can also have our own data types. So it is a user-defined data type. We can have the keyword enum, and the data type is days. So we are defining a new data type, which is called days. And in this data type, days, we are having some values here, some elements in these data types. So from Monday to Sunday, the days of the weeks are elements of this days data type. And when we are going to call them, we can simply declare one variable called today that is of days data type, and it is equal to Wednesday, for example. So previously we were having, for example, double, for example, b equals 10.5, for example. And now we are having a variable called today that is of type days that is defined by ourselves, and it is not defined previously in C++ like double or integer, and it is equal to Wednesday. Or we can have today too, a variable that is of type days, and it equals, for example, Friday. So this is how basically we can define a new data type like integer, like double, like float in C++ using enum, and we can name the data type, and also this data type can have different elements here. So here I'm defining the new data type called days, and it has 7 elements, and basically I can define a new variable of this data type and assign different elements of that data type to my variables. Basically, we're doing this because we can increase the code readabilities. For example, if I print the today, I'm going to have number 2 in the output. But instead of having number 2, I am giving it a meaningful name. Why 2? Because this is the index 0, index 1, and it is index 2. So we are giving the name because it will be more convenient for the developers to understand it. Instead of writing down 2 and then in your mind you remember, okay, 2 equals Wednesday, you can basically and directly use Wednesday, and it will return the value that you're looking for, which is 2. However, it gives you a meaningful name that helps you to understand the code. Therefore, the readability of your code will increase. In the following section, in the following lectures, we are going to discuss different types of enumeration that are single, multiple, and multi-level, and we are going to have many coding exercises with enumeration so we can practically see how useful they are. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to discuss multi-level enumeration. So we would like to write a program that declares multi-level enumeration and print some of their values. So multi-level enumeration means an enumeration with hierarchical levels using enum within enum for categorization. Here I'm having 3 enumeration. The first one is transport. We're having land transport and water transport. And the land transport is assigned the number 1 and water transport is assigned number 2. Then we are having land transport enum here that is consisting of car, bicycle, and train. And then we are having enum water transport. We're having boat and ship. And each of them are assigned numbers. So instead of remembering these numbers or these codes, for example, in our company, we are giving them meaningful names to be easy, so it would be easy to work with them. Instead of remembering to write down 102 means bicycle of the land transport Enu, we simply write down bicycle, so we remember we're talking about bicycle in the code instead of decoding. Okay, if it is written 102, it means that we're talking about bicycle. If it is written 202, it means that we're talking about ship. So it is easier to deal with the names in the code so we can improve their readability. And then I'm declaring two new variables. The first one is called travel mode, and it's of transport type, so it is from the first Enu. And then I'm assigning land to this variable. Then I'm having another variable called vehicle of land transport type, and it is assigned the car. Then I'm simply printing out these two variables. So I'm saying travel mode, I'm printing out the travel mode, and then land transport type, I'm just printing out vehicle. So let me run and see. So here we see that the travel mode equals 1. So the 1 is printed. So 1 was assigned to land here. And then land was assigned to this travel mode. This is why when we are printing out the travel mode, it is printing out 1. Then we are having land transport type, which is a 101. So land transport type, car is assigned to vehicle, and the code for car was 101. So this is why we're seeing 101 here. So instead of writing down basically 101 or 1 in the code, we are writing down land and car, which are meaningful names. So it improves the readability of the code for us. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we would like to discuss enumeration of type single. So single type enumeration. And we would like to write a program that declares an enum of weekdays and print out the third element using single type enumeration. To do that, we are having the int main function here, and before that, we are having one enumeration, so a new data type that is called days, and it is having 7 elements in it. In order to print out the third element, which means to print out the Wednesday, we need to declare a new variable that we call it today of days data type, which is our new data type here, and we assign Wednesday to it. And then we are going to print out its value. So the value of today is, and we are going to print out the today. So let me just run the code. Okay, we see that here it says the value of today is 2. So the value of today and the number is 2. So 0, 1, and 2. The index of Wednesday and the value of this element is 2. This is why it is printing out 2. However, in the code, we are not assigning 2 to today. We are assigning Wednesday, which gives the today variable a meaningful name that increase and improve the readability of our code. So we can also declare another variable, for example, called tomorrow of type days, and we can call it Thursday, for example. Okay, and here we can say the value of tomorrow is, then tomorrow and del. So if I run and compile, we will see that we will have the output of tomorrow as well. So let me run. So here we are having the value of today equals 2 and the value of tomorrow equals 3, because 3 is here and it is Thursday, and basically in C++ we start from 0. So Monday is 0, 1, 2, and 3 is our Thursday value for variable called tomorrow of type days. Basically, this is how we can have a single type enumeration here. We can see that a single type means that we are having only one new data type that is called days. So this is the single type enumeration in this code session that we reviewed together. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. In today's lecture, we would like to write a program that shows the first element of our enumeration starts from 1 and not from 0. So by default, we know that when we're having an enumeration, it is going to start from 0. So this one is 0, this one is 1, and this one is 2. However, if we would like to have Tuesday to be 2, not to be 1, we need to explicitly mention this. So let me just start from here. So let me just remove this part. So when I assign mon, okay, so I have the weekday data type enumeration, let's say, and there are three elements, mon, two, and wed, which are having Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So the weekday is the name of new data type. So the variable today is of type weekday and it is assigned month. When I print out today, we are having the value 0. So the first element is having the value called 0. But we would like to have it starting from 1 and not from 0. In order to do that, we simply need to mention this when we are having the first element. So the first element equals 1. So this way, we are telling C++, okay, I know that you start from 0 all the time, but this time, let's start from 1. So when I recompile, we see that mon equals 1 now. So it is starting from 1. And if I have Tuesday, it is going to print out 2, as you see here. But previously, when mon was 0, Tuesday was 2. But now Tuesday is 2. So this is how we can have the implicit conversion to integers in enumeration. It might be useful to start from 1, so you give also the number of elements equals the number of indexes. For example, this is index 1, this is the first element, index 2, second element, index 3, third element, instead of having index 0 for the first element, index 1 for the second element, and index 2 for the third element. So it is useful to do this conversion. It would be easier to trace everything in our enumeration. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, in this lecture we are going to write a program that uses an enumeration to represent the weather, sunny, rainy, and cloudy. And the program should take user input to determine weather condition and print an appropriate message. In order to do that, we are having one new data type, and this is done using enum. And the data type is called weather, and it is having three elements, sunny, rainy, and cloudy. We are having one integer declared here, and we are showing a message to the user saying that enter the weather, 0 for sunny, 1 for rainy, and 2 for cloudy. And then we are storing whatever the user is entering. In order to give some message to the user, we write down one if-else conditions, and we basically type down if the user input, which is the variable that we store the input by the user, equals sunny, print out it's a bright and sunny day. So if the user input equals rainy, show the message saying that don't forget to take your umbrella. And if the user input equals cloudy, looks like it might rain later. So this message is shown to the user. And if the user is entering any other number, we are just going to show invalid input. Please enter 0, 1, or 2. So basically, we are asking the user to give us 0, 1, and 2. And when 0 is entered by the user, 0 is stored in the user input. and the user input equals 0, when we are having user input 0, it is going to enter this if condition. Why? Because the first element is the 0 index, the second one is 1, and the third one is having index 2. Therefore, based on what the user is going to enter, we are having different user input values that equals different element of this weather enum. Therefore, different if conditions might be considered. So let me run the code first, and we're going to discuss further details after compiling the code. So enter the weather: 0 for sunny, 1 for rainy, and 2 for cloudy. So we're just printing out this message here in the terminal. I'm going to enter 0, and it shows the message saying that it's a bright and sunny day. If I enter 1, it is going to print out, okay, don't forget to take your umbrella. And if I enter 2, it is entering this part of the if else condition saying that looks like it might rain later. And if I enter any other number like 5, it is going to say invalid input, please enter 0, 1, or 2. So because we're having 3 elements here, and basically when we are having the element 1, for example, user input, for example, the user is entering 1, it means that we are referring to this rainy element of this weather enum. Why? Because sunny equals 0. We are having 0 here, 1, and 2. And we are asking the user to enter 0 for sunny, 1 for rainy, and 2 for cloudy. Okay? So when we are having the user input equals 1, is it equal to sunny? No, sunny is 0. So it's not passing this condition. It's not going to execute this part of the code. So 1 equals to rainy. Yes, it equals rainy. So it is going to execute this part of the code. Run, and when we run user input equals cloudy, 1 equals to cloudy, which is 2. No, so this part of the code is not going to be print out. So basically this is how we are giving meaningful names to our data types, so to our variables, because otherwise instead of having sunny, rainy, and cloudy, we should have had some numbers here. So if number 0 is entered, print out, for example, it's a bright day and it's a bright and sunny day. However, we are writing down if the user input equals sunny, then print out this message to the user. Therefore, it is improving its readability. It was a practical example to see how enumeration work in C++. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. So previously in this section talking about enumeration, we were having everything in the int main function. However, we know that we need to declare different functions to do different things for us. So our int main function remains clean and clear. So in this lecture, we're going to write a program that uses a function to decide the output of an enumeration for weather message to users. So we are combining enumeration concepts with functions. So we are going to write down a program and a function, separated function, to do everything for us regarding showing a message to the user regarding the weather. So here I'm having one enum called weather. It is having 3 elements: sunny, rainy, and cloudy. Then in the main function, I'm having variable today of weather data type, which is here, and it is assigned to be rainy. So it is the second element, okay? Then I'm calling the weather message function and passing the argument today. So this weather message function is of void type, so it's not going to return anything, and as its argument it is accepting weather data type here. okay? And the name of the passed argument that is used in this function is W. So W is here. So in order to iterate over different situations, we are having, in order to have investigating different conditions, let's say, we are having a switch statement. We could do it with if else also as well. So we are having a switch statement and we are having the condition over W, and we are having different cases here. So in case that it is sunny, in case W equals sunny, print out it's a bright day. In case W equals rainy, print the message saying that take an umbrella. And in case that W equals cloudy, show the message to the user saying that it might rain later. Okay, so let me run the code now. So we are having here initializing and declaring the today variable, and it is assigned a rainy. We are then passing this argument today, this variable here, and using the name of the function, which is weather message. Weather message is the function of void type, and its argument is of weather data type. Here, because rainy equals today, so when we are having the switch statement, it is going to enter this case rainy, and it is going to show the message take an umbrella. So this is basically how it works. So if we are going to assign cloudy to variable today, it might rain later message was going to be shown in the terminal. So let me just have this cloudy here and recompile. So we expect to see this message. Yes, we're seeing that it might rain later. It might rain later. The message here for the case that is cloudy. So cloudy is assigned to today. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture. In today's video, we're going to write a program that uses enumeration to show message to users depending on the traffic light colors. To do that, we're using switch statement, and here we are having a new data type called traffic light, and it is having red, yellow, and green as its elements. In the int main function, I'm having a new variable called signal of traffic light type, data type, and it is assigned red, the first element. Using a switch statement, I'm having the signal here, and here is the switch statement, and we are having different case. Different cases are here. So in case the input is red, print out stop. In case it is yellow, print out get ready. And in case it is green, print out go. So let me run and see how it works. Basically, it is switching, it is iterating over the signal variable, and it equals red. So it says, is it red? Yes, it is red. In case that it is red, just print out stop here. So in case that it is yellow, print out get ready, and other cases here. So basically, previously we were supposed to have a string doing these stuff for us, or different numbers that we were reading from the input from the user saying that enter, for example, 0 for red, enter, for example, 1 for yellow, and 2 for green. And basically, instead of iterating over, for example, the case that equals 0, then print stop. In case that we are having 1, print out get ready, we are having red instead of 0. So it makes more sense when you're reading your code. Let me just type down this comment here. So instead of having 0 to enter the first case, we are having red, making more sense for us. So instead of saying that in case it is 0, enter this part, we are saying in case that the signal is red, enter this part. So it is easier to understand, because if it was written in case that it is 0, then enter this part, I had to remember, okay, 0 means what? I had to go and read my notes to see 0 means what. So, or I could write down in case that it is 0, then I had to explain in comments to another developer saying that when we are having case 0, it means traffic light red. And here we could say, for example, when we are having case 1, it means traffic light yellow. So instead of having these comments here, we are using basically the red, yellow, and green instead of using 0, 1, and 2, making the code to be more concise, understandable, and more readable for us and for different developers, because after quite some time you might not remember what 0 meant, or what 1 meant, or 2 meant. So you have to think or go back to your notes, etc. But here you're having the, okay, I'm having variable signal and it is having the case red. Okay, signal, let me go up and see what signal is. When you go to the signal variable, you see it equals red and it is having the data type called traffic light. So you remember, okay, therefore I am having a customized data type called traffic light. So an enumeration is declared in the code. Then you search for the traffic light, you see, okay, I'm having an enumeration called traffic light and it is having 3 elements. So everything is concise and to the point in the code, so you can trace it easily and very well. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we would like to write a program that takes an error code as input and prints the corresponding error message in the output for the user. For example, we are having the error code 0 corresponding to success message in the output. We are having 404 error code for showing the message to the user file not found, and we are having 500 or 500 error code for the message of service error to the user. In order to do that, we define an enum for these common errors code in the system. Okay, here is our enum. So I use the enum keyword. Then the name of my enum is error code. Then I'm defining these 3 error codes with their corresponding, for example, name. Here, success equals 0, 404 equals file not found, and 500 equals server error. Okay, so in the int main file, after defining the enumeration or enum for ourselves, in the main file we are having one integer called error code. Then we are showing this message to the user: enter your error code. Then the user should choose between 0, 404 or 500. Whatever the user is going to enter is going to store it in error code integer here using the cin syntax. Then we are going to use the switch statement. So we are going to have this statement, error code, as the statement in the parentheses, and this is the part for the switch statement. So in case that the user has chosen, for example, 0, it is going to enter this case and see out or print in the terminal success, no issue found. Okay. In case the user is going to enter 404, it is going to enter this case, file not found, and show this message, error, file not found. Okay, and in case the user input is 500, while we are in the switch statement, it is going to enter this case, server error, and therefore it is going to print out server error occurred. And in any other cases, so if the user enters one number that is not neither it's neither 0, 404 nor 500. It is going to get this message in the output. The default case will happen, and we are going to show this message to the output unknown error code. So let me run the code first to see how it works. So this part shows up. Error, enter error code 0, 404, 500. So when I type down 0, I see this message. Success, no issues found. Why? Because we entered 0, and in our enum 0 equals success, and we are iterating over this variable. So we are storing 0 into this variable, and we are saying in case that it equals 0 or success, they are the same, enter this part. Okay, so when I type down 0, the code is basically saying that, okay, error code equal 0, okay, and success also equals 0. So in case that we are having the 0 in the input, it is going to enter this case success, and then show this message in the output, no issues found. So let me run the code one more time. So I type down 404, it says file not found. So in this case, error code equals 404, and 404 equals to file not found, which itself equals 404 as well. Therefore, it is going to enter this case and shows this message in the output, file not found. And when I run the code one more time and I type down 500, it says server error occurred. So 500 equals server error, and we are iterating through the error code integer. In the statement is we are checking the condition of the error code, and error code equals 500, and in the cases here that we are investigating, only server error equals 500. Therefore, it is going to enter this condition and shows this message in the output. And in case I enter one number that is neither of these, I would say, for example, 20, it says unknown error code. So here, when we are having a value which has for example, here when we are entering a value and it is stored in error code and it has no equivalent in these cases. So this one is 0, this one is 404, and this one is 500. 20 is neither of them. When we are having something that is neither of them, we are going to enter the default part and showing the message unknown error code. So this is how we can write a program to take an error code from the users and then print the corresponding error message in the output using enumeration. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. We would like to write a program that asks the user to choose a payment method and prints a confirmation message. For example, you selected car, and we would like to have an enum for different payment methods. For example, cash, card, and online. Here I'm having one enum. Using the enum keyword, I'm declaring it, and then the name of the enum is payment method, and we see that there are 3 enums defined here: cash, card, and online. So 0 equals cash, 1 equals card, and 2 equals online. Then we are showing this message to the user: select payment method. So whatever the user is going to enter is going to store in the method integer using the cin syntax. Then we are having switch statement, and the statement is method. So we are mentioning that if the user enters 0, here it is stored in method, and we are having the statement method in parentheses. So method equals 0, cash equals 0, we are going to enter this part. If the user enters 1, which equals card, so method equals 1 and card equals 1, therefore it is going to enter this case and print this message: you selected card. And if the user enters 2, 2 is stored here, and 2 is online equals online for our enum. Therefore, when we are having this statement in parentheses, online case is true, and therefore it is going to print you selected online in the output. If neither of these numbers are entered by the user, we are going to enter the default part, and this message is shown in the output invalid selection. So when I run this code and I enter 0, for example, here, as you see, it says select payment method. 0 for cash, 1 for card, and 2 for online. So I enter 0, it says you selected cash. So here is the cash. You selected cash. And if I run the code one more time, select the payment method, I enter 1, it says you selected card this time because I entered 1, and 1 in our enum equals 1, and in this case card is going to be the case where we are going to have the message being printed out in the output. You selected card is shown here, and if I do it one more time and I enter 2, you selected online because online equals 2, and in the case that has equality to 2 is only online, and method equals 2, therefore this case is implemented you selected online. And in case that I enter something that is not in the list, so I enter 10, it says invalid selection because 10 is neither of these numbers. Okay, so this is how we can declare and initialize an enum for different payment methods, for example cash, card, and online, then ask a user to select the payment method, and using switch statement we can show different messages to the user in the output. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. We would like to write a program that takes a user input for current temperature level and prints a recommendation. For example, hi, stay hydrated. Here I'm having one enumeration to be defined for temperature levels, low, medium, and high. So this is my enumerations. It is my enum called temperature level. I'm using enum keyword to declare it. Then it has 3 elements, low, medium, and high. So they're not equal to 0, 1, and 2. So I can do it, or I can simply eliminate them. So even if I eliminate them, it is going to start from 0. Okay, so low equals 0, medium equals 1, and high equals 2 by default. So they are by default equal to that. We can eliminate writing them down. So I'm having a variable called temp level. I'm asking the user enter temperature level 0 for low, 1 for medium, and 2 for high, and we are going to store whatever the user is entering in the temp level variable, and we are having the switch statement, and in parentheses we are having this temp level based on what the user is going to enter. 0 for low case is going to be implemented, medium for 1 if the user entered, the medium case is going to be implemented, and the message is medium, enjoy the weather. And in case the user enters 0, the low case is going to be implemented, which shows the message wear a jacket. And when the temperature is high, it says hi, stay hydrated. And if neither of these numbers are entered, we just show this message to the user invalid input. So when I run this code, it says enter temperature level. So 0 for low, 1 for medium, and 2 for high. Whatever I enter, it is going to be stored in temp level. So I enter 0. I enter 0, it says low, wear a jacket. So low equals 0 and temp level equals 0. Therefore, this case is going to be implemented, low, wear a jacket. So when I run the code one more time and I enter number 1, it says medium, enjoy the weather. It says medium, enjoy the weather. Why? Because temp level equals 1 and medium equals 1 as well. So this case is going to be implemented, and this message is shown in the output. And when I run one more time and I enter 2, it says hi, stay hydrated, because high equals 2, temp level equals 2. So the high case is going to be implemented, and this message is shown in the output. And if I enter any number that is not the chosen numbers, it is going to show me the message invalid input, which is the default case that we have in switch statement in C++. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. we would like to write a program for pizza sizes. So we would like to create an enum for pizza sizes, small, medium, and large, with custom prices assigned to each size. And we would like to write a program that takes a user input for the size and print the price of the selected pizzas. Here I'm having an enum called pizza size. It has 3 elements, small, medium, and large. Small equals 8, medium equals 12, and large equals 16. These are the size. For example, 16 centimeter, 12 centimeter, and 8 centimeter for a small one. Then we are going to ask the user select pizza size, and we say if you want a small, just type down 8, medium you want it, type down 12, and 16 you want it, type down large. If you want large, type down 16, for example. And then whatever the user is going to enter is going to store it in the size variable that we initialized here. It's an integer. Then we are having a switch statement, and the statement condition is the size. So if the user is going to enter 8, because small equals 8, it is going to enter this case, says that small pizza, $12. If the user enters 12, we are going to have medium being implemented because medium equals 12 as well, and size equals 12, medium equals 12, so it is going to enter this part and says that medium pizza 25. Then if the user enters 16, if the user is looking for a large pizza, they're going to enter 16, and 16 is going to activate this case which says large pizza is 27. If any other number apart from these 3 numbers are entered, it is going to enter the default part which mentions that invalid size selected. So when I run this code, it asks me to, okay, select pizza size. If you want small, type down 8. If you want medium, type down 12. And if you want large, type down 16. So I'm looking for a small one. I enter 8 and it says small pizza $20. So this is how a system could work in a restaurant, for example. So this case is being printed in the output. And if I run one more time and I enter 12, it says medium pizza is 25, which is this case. And then if I type down 16, it says large pizza 27. So this case is being implemented as you see it here. So if I run one more time and I enter, for example, 10, it says invalid size selected because 10 is in neither of the cases. Okay, so this is why the default case is being implemented and invalid size selected message is shown in the output. So this is how we can create an enum, for example, for pizza sizes and write a program that asks a user to enter, for example, one input for different sizes of the pizza and print the price of the selected pizza in the output. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. We would like to write a program that asks the user to input the current weather condition and then suggests an activity. For example, if the weather is sunny, go for a walk. Here is the enum that is suggested. So define an enum for weather conditions: sunny, rainy, cloudy, windy, and snowy. Here is my enum using the keyword enum. I'm declaring it. So the name of the enum is weather, and it has these 5 elements: sunny, rainy, cloudy, windy, and snowy. So we learned that if I don't type down sunny equals 0, it is going to by default consider sunny to be 0, rainy 1, cloudy 2, 3 for windy, and 4 for snowy. Here I'm showing this message to the user. Enter weather conditions 0, 1, 3, 2, 3, and 4. For example, if it's snowing, type down 4. If it's windy, type down 3. If it's cloudy, type down 2. If it's rainy, type down 1. And if it's sunny, type down 0. And whatever the user is going to enter is going to be stored in this integer variable weather condition. And we are having the switch statement, and the condition in the parentheses, the statement there is the weather condition variable that the user is going to enter. Then in case the user enters 0, this sunny case is going to be implemented. Why? Because sunny equals 0. Here sunny is the first element, therefore by default it equals 0. Weather condition is 0, therefore these two are equal, so this line of code is going to be implemented. So the weather is sunny, okay, go for a walk, this message is shown. If the weather is rainy, it is going to say stay indoors and read a book. If it's cloudy, perfect for taking photos. If it's windy, fly a kite. And then if it's snowy, build a snowman. And if neither of them is entered, show this message in the output saying that invalid weather condition. So when I run this code, we see that it says enter weather condition. 0 for sunny, 1 for rainy. So I would say 0. It says sunny, go for a walk. This one is implemented. If I enter 1, it says stay indoor and read a book. This one is implemented, okay, which is true. Then if I enter 2, it says cloudy, perfect for taking pictures. Here, this one is implemented because cloudy equals 2, its index equals 2, and weather equals 2 because we entered 2, so it is stored in this variable. Therefore, because these two are equal, so this case is true, and we're going to have this message in the output. If I have number 3, it says fly a kite, so it's windy. Okay, and finally, if I mention snowy, if I type down 4, it means that the weather is snowy. It says build a snowman. And if I enter any other number, for example 6, it is going to show me this message to me saying that invalid weather condition because the number that I entered is 6, and 6 is in neither of these cases. So this is how we can create an enum for weather conditions: sunny, rainy, cloudy, windy, and snowy. And then ask a user to enter the equivalent of these numbers that we define for them. For example, we tell them if the weather is snowy, you need to type down 4 because the enum is taking snowy with the index 4 because it's the fifth element and it starts from 0. And then if the user is going to enter 4, 4 is stored in the weather condition variable, and snowy already equals to 4 because it's the fifth element, and this one is 4. So these two are equal. Therefore, this case is true, and this message is going to be shown in the output to the user. Build a snowman. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to discuss multiple enumeration. And so the enumeration type called multiple. And we're going to write a program that declares multiple enumerations in the same program and print out one value from each of them. In order to do that, we are going to have two new data types, and we are doing this through enum. And the first data type is called days, and the second data type is colors. The first one is having 5 elements from Monday to Friday, and the second data type that is called colors is having 3 elements in it. And we are having one int main value, one int main function, sorry. And then in order to declare and initialize some variables from these two newly defined data types, we are going to have days, the name of the new data type, and the variable day, and then the value is assigned to that variable. So the variable can be assigned any of these elements. So I'm going to assign Friday. And then we are going to declare another variable called color from colors data type, and the red is assigned to this variable. After declaring and initializing our newly defined variables of these two newly defined data types, we are going to print out these two variables from these two newly defined data types. To do that, we are saying day number, and then we are going to print out day, and then we are having color number, and then we are going to print out color. So let me run. So when I run here, I see that day number 4 equals 4. So day number 4, and we basically assigned Friday. Why it is printing 4 and not Friday? Because we are asking the program to call the last element in this newly defined data type called days, that is Friday. but we are not mentioning to print out number 4 directly. We are assigning Friday to it, so it gives a meaningful name to our variable, so it improves its readability. But what we actually need is number 4. So this is why we're using enum. So it is easy to understand Friday for the user that is reading this code. But instead of Friday, if we were assigning 4 and then 0 here to the color, it was very hard to remember, okay, whenever I see 4 in the day, it means that I'm talking about Friday. Whenever I see, for example, 0 in the color, it means red. Whenever I see 1 in the colors, it means green, 2 means blue, etc. Instead of decoding all of these things, we simply give them meaningful names. And then we are having the 4-day number equals 4 because we are talking about Friday, and Friday is the 5th element of this newly defined data type, and we are having 0 as Monday, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Friday is 4. And then we are assigning red to color, and it is having color number equals to 0, means that red is 0. So red and 0 is printed out here. We could also define, for example, color 2, for example, and then assign blue to it. And then basically here, color blue number, then having the color and del. And when I color 2, sorry, when I compile this code, we expect to see the index for the blue, which is 2. So red is 0. You see here color blue number 2, 0, 1, and 2. Basically, in this coding session, we reviewed how to define multiple enumeration and how to define two enumeration here as to be multiple type. And then we declare 2 variables, 3 variables, 2 of the colors data type and 1 of the days data type. And then we print out 1 element of each of them. Thank you for watching.